Welcome to Look Around Florida. I'm your host, Sean McFall, aka the Florida Man. Uh, I got a very special guest. I got her behind the scenes right now. Till we populate. Then we can bring her up and go into various different events and stuff going on throughout the SCV in Florida. Uh, This is Look Around Florida, so I try to stay with historical topics throughout Florida. Some based on our Confederate veterans, and others based on our history and culture of Florida. So when you join in, don't matter if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just say hi and where you're from. I appreciate that. All right, we got two people watching now, so soon as everything populates, then we go into our subject matter. So let me where yep, there it is. So most of you know anything and everything can fly out of my mouth at a moment's notice. This way it keeps my bosses off my back. Hey, Linda and Roy, good to see you. Hope you liked last night's show on SCV Chat. There was a, a barrel of laughs. Hey, Kim, our division chaplain's in the chat. Our one of our division lieutenant commanders is in the chat. Welcome, gentlemen and ladies. So, last night, the whole SCV chat gang got together for SCV chats year in year end episode. We'll be back with that come January. Hey, David, good to see you. Hope Tennessee's treating you well tonight. There's Jeffro. Oh, you guys put up a 30 by 50 Army of Tennessee flag today. Sweet. Good job to the early camp. So, like I said, as soon as we get more people in the chat, I got Joanne Miller. She'll talk about what she did for Lee County until she retired and projects that she's working on still. She's hiding in the background right now. Bring her up in a little bit. So keep in mind, if you're going to register for the division reunion June 1st, the information is up on this website. Please go to our division website. Click on the information there to register for our division reunion here in Florida, June 1st. Did get a message from our division commander. He does have a special gift for you guys, gentlemen, again this year. So pre-register for that. Not only that, we got a few events that are coming up. Uh, we got Lee Jackson dinners, all Lee Jackson celebrations coming up all next month. June 20th, 2024, the Finley's Brigade Camp 1640, Sons of Confederate Veterans in Marianne Heck Camp. Number 5, Order of the Confederate Rose, January 20th. Social hour will be at 5 p.m. Supper will be and the program will be at 6 p.m. Jackson Lodge, number 1. Appalachian Parkway, Tallahassee, Florida. Their special guest is none other than, uh, man, my eyes are getting bad. Thomas Jesse. He's going to be portraying Robert E. Lee and talk about what Robert E. Lee did in the state of Florida. Hey, Keith. Hey, Kim. So that's going to be a fun event that's coming up. If you didn't get your stuff in, get it now. And of course, Please join the Florida Division event, Lee Jackson Celebration, January the 21st to the 21st. Special guest will be our Army of Tennessee Councilman Carl Jones. And if you watch SCV chat, you get a glimpse of him. He's a fun guy to be around. A lot of knowledge. So that's going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. If you need, if you're going to go, get your registration in now. They are getting their head count, making sure they got the meals and all that ready to go. Now, this one is the Captain J.J. Dickerson Camp 1387 is proud to host the Southeast Florida annual Lee Jackson Dinner and Southern Heritage Celebration. That will be at 5 p.m. Saturday, January the 6th. I'll be going to this event. It will be at the Holiday Inn Express Suites, 301 Tucker's Lane, Cocoa, Florida. Honored guest speaker is none other than the SCV Lieutenant Commander in Chief, Mr. Donnie Kennedy. Mr. Donnie Kennedy was one of our guests just recently. So, a lot of good stuff coming out. I got some information today from Randy Cook. So let me he emailed to me. They're working on a hangar painting Christian, the body blue, and the Confederate 30. Yeah, Confederate a 36 by 80 roof, which will fly the 20 by 36 and training cannon crews. Ooh. So hats off to Camp 1315. Let me show some of the pictures. There we go. There you go. There you go, gentlemen and ladies. Go. That's the hangar they're working, sort of their clubhouse, whatever you want to call it, where they're going to have their meetings and train future cannon crews. They're ready. So that's kind of cool. Got some news coming out of the Panhandle. I know Jim Odell last weekend just had their reenactment over there in Fort Pierce at the gun show. It looked like a good turnout, Jimbo. Please send me pictures and a little story behind it, and it'll be featured on the next episode of Look Around Florida. Especially this time of year, if you're a new camp commander, a new elected official to your camp. I know a lot of the camps out there had their election year. So please feel free to message me. You could be a guest on the next episode of Look Around Florida. Yes, Jim Odell, Yellow Pines. So with all that's going on, we're going to bring Joanne Miller up. Hey, Joanne, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. I'm enjoying the cool weather we finally have.
Finally.
So, what kind of? I know you retired from the county. What type of work did you do for the county?
I was the historian for the Clerk of Court, the document specialist. I handled all the old historical documents that we found in the basement and in the vault, and the old historical plats going back to 1887 to the present. Everything's viewable that we have. And it was an amazing job. I loved it, but it was time for me to go. It was 41 years. I was tired. I was ready to go and start a new adventure. And it looks like I'm still dealing with history in my life. I'm still doing things, which I enjoy. It's my passion.
And guys, kind of give you an idea of Joanne. A lot of the information that I gathered here in Lee County, I've got from her. She has a YouTube channel. Go ahead and talk about your YouTube channel, Joanne.
Well, you can find me under Joanne Iwinski Miller or Dead Men Tell No Tales, so we do. So it's a new Facebook page called History Hunters of Lee County, Florida, but the subtitle is Dead Men Tell No Tales, so we do. And what we do is we look at a headstone, going as back as far as we want, and we write a story about it. The other ladies besides me is the TikTok star, The Grave Maid. Her name is Brianne. And then we have Jean Gray and Gina Taylor. So there's 4 of us that do this.
Oh, that's cool.
Hmm?
Yeah. Wasn't it one of them that just helped me out recently, get me information on a little girl's grave that I just cleaned recently?
Yeah, you cleaned the grave and you asked somebody if anybody knew about her. I don't remember the year of the grave, but I did find her on newspapers.com. We didn't know how the little girl died, and she was very sick. I don't remember the details right now because I've done so much, but she did pass away from being ill. And we were able to put that on Find a Grave. You
Cool.
cleaned it, we put it on Find a Grave.
And I'm glad I asked not only you and your little group for help on getting the information so we could get it on Find a Grave.
I've been doing Find a Grave, I think, for probably 7 years, and I've got over 5,000 credits to my name.
I know a lot of the graves that I've looked up out there in Buckingham, your name's attached to them.
I really went through the Buckingham Cemetery as one of my first projects, and as many people as I could, I dug around and got their obituaries. And I appreciate you cleaning that cemetery and taking care of it along with the Alba one that you do and others.
Yeah, it's because we have a method within the SCV. It's called SIR. It's the no harm way of cleaning headstones. And once I learned the method, I just ran with it over Lee County, Collier County, and all the way up to Wauchula.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because the thing I like about headstones is after cleaning them, it's the detail artwork
Well, there's
within.
a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of symbolism. I heard that hands up means they went peacefully and quickly, or peacefully, and hands down. No, hands down, they went quickly. Hands up, they had a full life and they left.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I just
symbol-
recently got a book on some of those symbols. And I tell you what, it's fascinating because me and a good friend of mine that's in the chat, Jeff O'Con, we were talking about the other day about the coins that veterans leave on other veterans' headstones.
In that,
Yeah, the penny, the dime, all the way up to a quarter.
that's interesting. One of the things, that book that you're talking about, I did read a little bit about it. I don't have it yet. But the one thing I found fascinating that I'm going to share is 100 years ago, or 150 years ago, people would go to cemeteries for recreation. They would picnic, they would sit by their loved ones and spend the day with them. People don't do that anymore. They don't clean the headstones or take care of the headstone. But years ago, they would spend the day there, children would run around, and it's not a scary place.
Well, you're talking to the right crowd because a lot of us love cemeteries and cleaning headstones and the artwork.
I love finding an obituary or photo to that headstone.
Exactly. See, that just puts a a face with that headstone, so we can, when we're there at the cemetery on Find a Grave.
Well, a lot of those people are forgotten. Those veterans are forgotten. All their families are long gone. So with Find a Grave and people like you cleaning the headstone, putting it all together on Find a Grave, future generations can see it. That's the
Yep,
purpose behind you.
exactly. Uh, I know that there's a discussion right now with one of those headstones here in North Fort Myers, the Daughtries. Uh, what what have you found out about that one?
Well, first of all, you know the story of Jacob Daughtry. Do you know the story of him?
Not 100%, or I don't remember it.
When he came to, he was driving his cattle down to Ponderosa, and one of the cows got loose, and he wasn't going to let that $10 cow get away, and it ended up on the banks of North Fort Myers, and he went chasing after it. And when he got to the bank and he went up and he saw what he saw was just awesome. It was an old civilization. It wasn't Seminoles. It went back to the Calusas. There was an Indian mound and artifacts, and he thought, this is high up. I would like to homestead this, and he did. He homesteaded 160 acres. Well, to make a long story short, you know, he brought his family there, and he was a veteran, a Civil War veteran, Confederate, and he had a daughter, and her name was Lizzie, and she was beautiful. She had curly hair. Well, somebody said something about his daughter. So he was mad, and he was a big guy. So he got in the boat from North Fort Myers and he went over to Fort Myers, and he was in front of, I think it was Blanche store. And he ran into William Guest, the guy that said something about his daughter. So he went up to him and they started an argument. They started a fight. He had a club. So he hit him and the guy fell, and he hit him again and he got up and it went back and forth. The guy took out a knife and stabbed him in the heart. So they put him on the boat and they took him back across to North Fort Myers, and the widow decided she was going to bury him on the homestead, which is close to the Bayshore Road where the Florida Power and Light wire towers or whatever you call them. And that's where he was laid to rest. He had a beautiful headstone. Well, decades later, one of the owners in 1990 decided to have that whole area bulldozed. So he got this young man that lived in a trailer close by, and he said, just bulldoze that. I want to use that property and I want to rent it out for cattle so I can make some money. He didn't want that cemetery there, which it was a Confederate veteran laying there. So the kid did it and the stone broke. Well, he felt bad about it. He took the stone back home with him. So then the Bauckham family found out. They got wind of what happened, and it was a big deal. The owner got in trouble. The kid brought the headstone back. Nothing happened to the kid. He was honest. So it laid there from 1990, and there was a fine, I think, of $7,500. So then in 2018, me and several people went out there, and we found it, we cleaned it up, and there was an iron cross put there by the Sons of the Confederacy, Robert Gates, Jerry Snell, Ross Barnett Barrett. There's a whole group that was there. And some of the family members of Daughtry showed up too, so that was kind of cool. Well, now that property's for sale again. And then we just found out that they want to put this big, huge development there, and there was a big stink about it last week. And sounds like they're going to put a fence around that cemetery now. They're not going to do anything about it. We put the pressure on them, is what we have to do sometimes. I hate doing that, but sometimes you have to.
Exactly. See, what I found out, because the guy that actually did the surveying was a friend of mine, and he was telling me that the developer knew of the cemetery there and asked them to locate it. So, you
Good.
know, what
It's
he was,
under a,
yeah, go ahead.
well, it's under a Florida Power and Light easement, which you can't do anything around it. But then that didn't stop anybody in 1990. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There was a survey then too. So so this guy you're telling me marked it. He was the surveyor, right?
yes.
Good. I would love to see that survey.
I'll talk to you who the surveyor was off the show, and you can message him and go from there. I actually may see him this weekend. Me
I'm
and his dad, me and his dad are close friends.
Ask him if that property has been platted yet. What's the name of the subdivision? I tried to find that out. I couldn't do that because I'm really interested where there's Confederate soldiers buried. I mean, if what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, 'cause according to him, what he was telling me that the developer is aware of it. He was going to build a park or a preserve area where that's located.
Well,
So,
I asked about iron fence to
right.
protect with the park. People can walk over, let their dogs run through there or whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping he'll. Um,
I agree with you on that. And according to him, we will have access to it to go in
good.
there to weed whack, keep the flags flying on that grave.
That's awesome.
But that's right now. And once the developer gets in there, start doing it and stuff, we just have to be vigilant.
Right.
Jim Odell's asking, Joanne, is there a marker for the landing to ship cattle from Ponderosa?
I don't think so. I don't think there is. I'm not aware of one. You know, the telegraph office is missing. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all, yeah, unfortunately.
yeah, because Jim, that's where the hurricane came in through, and I take care of the buildings right there, and they were totally wiped out. So yeah, I mean the boat dock, boat dock and storage is back open and operating, but the buildings itself are
Yeah,
that whole
that
area
was,
don't even that whole area don't even look the same anymore.
oh,
Does anybody have any questions for Joanne? I mean, she's a worth of knowledge. I've learned a lot from her uh, over the years.
I'm going to add something. I do have a Facebook page, another one called Fort Myers, Florida Old Photo Facebook page. And don't even ask me how I did this because I'm not real computer savvy, but there is a search engine there. You can go there and search graves or cemetery and everything will come up, and there's over 10,000 photos and obituaries and newspaper clippings there too. It's a great resource for anybody researching along with Find a Grave. So those are two really good areas. I'm real proud of that Facebook page.
There we go. It's scrolling at the bottom. And let me
Mhm.
take that one down. There you go. That's the Facebook page, guys, that Joanne's talking about. Scrolling at the bottom. It's a great page. A lot of us post stuff in there, old pictures of Fort Myers. Uh, Now one that Joanne talked about, it actually hits me because I grew up right down the road from it. And that's the fountain with the Iron Gate behind it down off of McGregor.
You mean the statue,
Yeah,
or are you talking about the statue going into Edison Park?
the one going into Edison Park, right down the road from Edison Museum.
Right. That is Rachel at the well. She's been horribly damaged from the hurricane. Right now, they've got her boxed in. You can't even see her. They're trying to
Yeah,
protect her.
yeah. Because the last time I saw it, she was wrapped up in plastic and all that. And I'm glad they finally put a box around her.
Yeah, they're trying to protect her. I don't even know if they can save her. They're looking for someone to do the work, and it's just, I hope they can save her. She took a
Yeah,
beating.
yeah. Because that hits me because my entire life, because my grandmother lived down off McGregor, and we lived 3 houses down from her till I was age 6 before we moved out to North Fort Myers. So I
Mhm.
grew up with that statue, seeing it every day.
Drive by it every day along with the beautiful palms along McGregor.
Oh
You know, we
yeah,
granite, don't we? And people from all over the world and country want to come to Fort Myers and see those palms, and what we have here is beautiful. And we all take it for granted, but we live in a beautiful place.
yes. Yeah, because the thing that I miss as a kid, especially this time of year, is the original owner of the Edison Mall, and he as and I thought this was the coolest thing when I was a kid. Is in front of his house he had a mechanical Santa that just did this, but you know, when you're a
That was
kid, that was awesome.
that was George Sanders, that white long house. That's just a beautiful home. Yeah, I never got to see that, but you still, when you go down McGregor this time of the year, a lot of people do decorate for the holidays, and it is beautiful.
Yeah. And that's the thing with, growing up, right there in Fort Myers is the Christmas stuff, and I can remember my grandparents would take us out to go hunt coconuts.
Love that. I go out and hunt mangoes during the season.
Yeah.
There's I never guavas though. I can't never find guavas that I hear about, but I guess they're here somewhere. And I'd like to find some swamp cabbage.
Well, that usually happens in February in LaBelle, at the Swamp Cabbage Festival. It's usually a good time,
Mhm.
good food. Uh 'Cause what swamp cabbage actually it's the heart of the cabbage palm, uh, cooked up.
Jim
Cause I know.
English from Alvin, and also Connie and Billy Flint.
Mhm. Yeah, Mr. English, Billy Flint, I'm sure James Kennedy knows how to, that was our guest last Tuesday, knows how to, cook some up.
Well, I can tell you what, if James don't know, I bet his mother knows. She can cook that up, I bet. He probably goes and gets it and she cooks it. I hope he gets her recipe.
I hope so too. Yeah, because it was a fun time last Tuesday. They just had their event at the Alva Museum this past Saturday. It looked like he had
I got to go to
how was it, Joanne? It looked like they had a good event.
It was awesome. John Brady from Naples, he's a professional photographer. He does landscaping. It was awesome. I mean, they really had it going on this weekend. It was a wonderful event. I hope they do more. I hope to see him more, Mr. Brady, because his work is fabulous. James was there. Amy Williams Bennett was there. Just all the Alva locals and the old timers were there. It was a great event. I loved it. And of course, then we ate at the Alva Diner, of course.
You can't go wrong with good food there.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
That's correct, Jimbo. The Battle of Okeechobee, it's a Seminole War reenactment, has good swamp cabbage there, and it's done by Jim. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's done by the Seminoles.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're good people. Once you get in with them, they treat you like family.
Mhm.
So, any other historical stuff coming up in Fort Myers that you've been working on?
No, with the holidays, everything's kind of quiet. Now, the Southwest Florida Historical Society is going to have their cracker dinner pretty soon. I do believe that's in February. Anybody can contact them for tickets or anything like that. Um, but you don't have to be a member in order to go. And then later in, I think it's April, is the Pioneer Picnic. Now, that always has about 1,000 people. You have to be a Florida resident for at least 50 years. So you can go, but you can go with somebody that's been here 50 years, and it's very inexpensive, and everybody gets together, and it's another wonderful event. It's like a big reunion,
Yeah.
but that's going on.
Cool. Well, I just turned 46, so I'm almost there to go.
You can get somebody 50 to take you. You're good.
I know plenty of people that are, and some are in this chat right now.
Mhm.
So, oh man, it's been a long, crazy day at work today. So, in your opinion, Joanne, how's the McGregor area recovering from the hurricane? I know it's been a couple
Well,
years.
I lost my home. I didn't get in it for a year, and I think everybody in my neighborhood is just now getting in it, back in their home. We were
Wow.
all Now, I'm not comparing it to Fort Myers Beach, but I live along Whiskey Creek, the north or the riverside of McGregor. We were hit hard. We were in the attic. Me and my friend was in the attic during it. So we didn't leave. Nobody told us to leave. The water started coming up, but we are recovering. The road looks beautiful, like nothing happened. It was a major cleanup, and somebody coming today down McGregor wouldn't even know we had a hurricane. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, they're still working on the cleanup on all that throughout our barrier islands.
Fort Myers Beach was hit hard, 17 feet inside. I think some of the elevators are still not working in the condos. They're getting ready for the tourist season. Of course, Margaritaville just opened. So a lot of people probably stay there, but the other end of the beach is pretty much devastated still.
Hmm.
We had a restaurant in 2004. Me and my husband, Hurricane Charlie, blew that away. So this is the second time I've been hit by a hurricane personally, but
Yeah,
I'm still here.
yeah. I mean, my grandmother's house is still standing, and it got hit by Hurricane Donna.
These old houses were built. My house was built in 59. The house was there, everything in it was destroyed with the
Mm.
water, mainly the water damage.
Are you able to rebuild the inside of it, Joanne? Or
I'm back in it. I rehabbed it. I didn't have flood insurance, but I rehabbed it. I lost all my photos, my research, my computers. I lost everything. I started crying one day at work. I only had a few clothes to wear and my button fell off. I didn't even have a needle and thread. So I mean, I've recovered. I've gotten shoes and socks and clothes, and I'm back in my house and life is good.
cool.
I'm yeah, I didn't sell it. I had several people offer to buy it real cheap, but it was paid for, so I just rebuild it.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially the outside of it that was built so strong.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it went through a category 5 and it's still here.
Yep. Correct, Keith. There is a lot of good information out there on our cemeteries. And Joanne's helped out with quite a bit of that. So, hey, she's here. Ask questions. She's not shy. You guys know
Oh,
me. I'm not shy. I wouldn't be doing this podcast.
I don't know, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we just had an incident just this week, no, last week, actually last couple of days out in Buckingham. Some mentally challenged person decided to go off the road, took out the fence that's in front of it, and took out what about 5, 6 headstones, Joanne?
One of them was Dennis Hickey, And you're saying the Blount one was already down, and then there was a family, I think it was Addison or Atkin. It's totally destroyed. I don't think they can piece it together unless they lay it flat. But yeah, you're right. That cemetery road is like a racetrack. At one point, that was just a dirt road that went to the cemetery, no further. And then they paved it. And now it's all the way out to Lehigh. So it's a shortcut for people from Lehigh. And, they use it. And I guess the traffic is really bad. But you're right. Somebody ran off the road and hit some of the headstones,
Yeah, because
unfortunately.
when we used to do the reenactments out there and everything, you barely saw a car, but that was about 20 years ago.
And now it's the traffic is bad. People don't care about cemeteries or anything. They don't. It's just a bunch of dead people. And basically that's true, but still you have to honor the dead and respect the dead, I believe.
Exactly. And remembrance. Speaking of remembrance, this Saturday throughout our country will be Wreaths Across America. I will be at the Alva Cemetery supporting the Daughters of the American Revolution out there and making sure all of our veterans out there get a wreath for Christmas. And
How many veterans approximately are out there? Is that one of the biggest areas for veterans in Lee County?
I'm not sure because I've walked that cemetery so many times and I've lost count over the years. But there's a couple people that I know. One is Monica, and there's a lady named Kim. She does Fort Myers Cemetery. They're members of the DAR, and they would have better better information on that. I just know there's a total of 3 Confederates buried out there. Now there's yeah, 3 out there and 1 unknown. Now there's 2 other markers out there. Uh, they were placed there by us because they were given to us by the late commander of the old AC Myers camp in Fort Myers. The original camp commander passed away, and his wife then had no clue where these headstones went. They went somewhere in Lee County, and one of our members reached out to the board with the Alva Cemetery, and they graced us with permission to put those headstones there.
I Well, you do great work. That's all I can say. And somebody like me really appreciates you keeping an eye on things. You're kind of like the watchdog over this place. And if there's a problem, I see that we contact you now. We'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to thank you for putting me in touch with Pam Brown of the Brown Cemetery out there in Immokalee. She's a worth
Right.
of knowledge too, with
Oh,
the
she is.
history out there.
She's a descendant of William Brown, the guy that used to drive I guess, the carts into Fort Myers to trade in the late 1800s. That's her
Hmm.
great great grandfather.
Wow. See, I'm always learning something from you, her, and various pioneer families. Uh, this is a great way for us to talk about our history and culture, especially the pioneers that were here before us.
I love talking about the pioneers. That's like my favorite subject because nobody today knows what they endured. I mean, it was incredible what the women went through with childbirth alone. The men had to go out, they were gone all day. They were hunting and fishing to get food on the table, trying to make money to support their family. But the women did a lot too. And even the kids, but what they went through was unreal. Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, yellow fever. A good friend of mine and Joanne's, Robert Maycomber, wrote a book on the Union vessels that were part of the blockade of the South, and how a lot of them came down with yellow fever, and the cause of it was mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm. It was bad. Even if you see old photos and you see horses with covers on their face with the holes, that was to protect them from mosquitoes. I didn't know that until I was looking at a photo and someone said, "Oh, I know what that is." They would cover the horses with a cotton mask, and because the mosquitoes were so bad when they were out on the trails.
Yeah, because with getting to know Pam Brown and doing research of Collier County and Immokalee, I found this book, the end of the Oxcart Trail, and it talks about how settlers came in from Wauchula area into Fort Myers and Collier County back in the early 1800s.
It was quite something to get here, and it was by ox trail. I mean, it was just ox carts, and people didn't have any money. And there was one trail where DeSoto County was just above Lee County, or actually Monroe County, and they all went down the same trail to get here. I guess maybe they crossed at Fort Thompson. That was the lowest area water where you could cross, and then they would come in this area. Where
Yeah,
they would
'cause
actually have to.
back then the Caloosahatchee wasn't as wide as it is today.
No, it was very narrow until it was dredged, and the dredging really did destroy it.
Yeah,
And also,
because go ahead.
you know, somebody else told me, and it is hard to envision this, but the banks of the Caloosahatchee was like a beach. You would actually be able to walk out there, even in town. It was like a beach until they started doing the seawalls and everything. And you could actually walk out into the water downtown where the wharfs were. You could actually walk out into the water, you know, up to your ankles. It was almost like a beach going out. And that's kind of hard to imagine, but that's the way it was.
I can because I grew up hearing about the artist that lived on the island in the middle of the Caloosahatchee. And I always wondered how he got there, either, just like you were saying, or by boat. Which they pretty much, I mean, granted, this is my opinion, and that they pretty much destroyed that island and putting boat docks and whatever else they put out there.
They did. They absolutely did. But you know, here's an interesting story if you have time for it.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
old, you know, the old lake cemetery just past the Alva entrance on the left. You know that cemetery? It's back there, just past when you go to Alva, which is I think Broadway. Just past that, a little way to the left, there's an old cemetery called Old Lake Cemetery. And there was a man by the name of Kilby Murphy that was buried there. And he was murdered, actually. So, but when they started dredging the river, the brothers and the nephew stood on the edge of the river with their guns because he was buried close to the river. And so the dredgers saw them standing with the guns pointed at them, and they went to the other side of the river and cut off the Alva Park. That park now has become an island. So in addition to the shape of the river changing in Alva, the river was cut, or the island was cut off. Well, it became an island. It was the park. So that's a little bit of history about that cemetery and who's buried there.
Oh, you talk about the island where they have the well, at one time it used to light up, but it was a metal thing with two manatees on it.
I don't
You can
think
see it from
so.
the I-75 bridge.
No,
Okay.
no. This is you're going over the Alva Bridge, going into Alva from Palm Beach. If you look to the far right, there is a cutoff there, and of course it's an island now, but that was part of Alva, and it was the park for Alva. Peter Nelson, when he created the subdivision, created this park. for the town. Well, the dredge cut it off because at the old lake cemetery, the men were standing there with the guns pointing at them. I'll tag you in that post.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. Now, is the cemetery still there?
Oh yeah, nobody even knows about it, not even the people of Alva. I was
Wow.
over and I was talking to Trey English, one of the Englishes. He didn't know about it. I took Amy Cochran over there. She didn't know about it. We walked around. There's not many headstones left, but it's definitely there. There's two cemeteries in Alva.
Wow. I always knew about the one, but wow. I gotta check that cemetery out.
I'm going to tag you in some of the posts.
Cool. I'd love to go find that. Is that where it's located? Is that down there off of Perry Street? This same street where the museum is?
Oh no, you have to stay on Palm Beach.
Okay.
You don't go into Alva. And you drive past the Alva Diner, you drive past that, you go down a ways quite a bit, and then you see a nursery. Not
Yeah.
the one the second nursery. There's two nurseries out there, the second one.
Yeah.
And just before that nursery is a road, and you go dead straight almost to the river, and you see a clearing. And sometimes you can't see it because sometimes it's not been mowed. But that's where it is. And I do believe there's a man by the name of either Golden or Walker that handles that today, that does the mowing and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. I'd love to go check that out. Oh,
I
and
will.
I know where the nurseries are, so yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that's the one. I know James was talking about. Me and him was talking 2 Saturdays ago about another one in that area.
Yes, there's another one. There's more graves hidden off of one of the roads. I don't want to say what road, but in the woods. And I actually went into the woods looking for it. I
Hmm.
was in there with a friend and we were looking for like anything like headstones, but it was so dense. It was just really dense. It's going to take a group of us going in there with something to clip off the branches and everything. But yeah, that's going to be interesting if we find out who's there.
Yeah, because one of your posts and some friends of mine were trying to pick a day to get with you to go to Sanibel.
Well, I'm going to be traveling soon, and I know where you want to go, but there is a lady by the name of the Grave Maid. Her
Yes.
name, and she TikTok. She will take you there. I don't know much about the Sanibel cemeteries, but she knows exactly where they are. But there's another cemetery there where there's just one man, and he's buried in the bottom of a well, and
Wow.
he buried his gold there. They
Right.
said he had
Yeah.
money. So he was buried there, and we do believe that there could be other people there too.
Wasn't that the one you were telling me that was a Confederate veteran?
On Sanibel, no,
Okay.
no, no. But they keep popping up, don't they? We
Uh,
keep finding them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with doing cemetery work or trying to locate cemeteries, including veterans. They can be in the middle of a cow field. There's one that I'm trying to locate right now. A good friend of mine down in Everglades City was telling me there's an actual veteran that's buried under a house.
Really, in Everglades City.
Yes, ma'am. And I've
That
heard
that
that and his family is one of the pioneer families, uh, down there
you know,
in Everglades City.
you know the last name. I'm just curious of the Pioneer family.
Bogus,
Okay, that's possible. There was a Bogus that was in the Civil War, but you think
correct,
he was buried?
and his picture is right here on the screen. That's,
Oh,
Lieutenant FCM Bogus. Uh, he
so
was a
let me ask.
cattleman, veteran of 4 veteran of 4 wars, the Civil War, and 2 Seminole Wars.
What's his first name?
Francis Calvin Morgan Bogus. And if you
Okay.
want more information on that, I can provide it for you because I've got it from the family.
Well, I'm just wondering about something. You know, we have the old homestead deeds.
Hmm.
In Collier County was Lee County at one time. We were all Monroe County.
Yeah.
Surely there must be a deed with the section, township, and range that the state gave him for his homestead. That'd be 160 acres, but you know exactly where this is, right?
Not,
Where he said,
yeah, now Bogus is the pioneer family. He's actually buried up there in yeah, he's
no,
buried up there in DeSoto County.
so Francis is not the one buried in Everglades City.
Correct.
Who's supposed to,
It's the his descendants were telling me the story of a veteran that's buried under a house out there, and there's an island out there in the 10,000 Islands that has another veteran that was a descendant of the one of the mayors. One of the mayors of Everglades City was his descendant.
that's interesting. I love that. I hope you find out more on that. I'd like
That's the thing, Joanne. I do this just like you, history hunting.
the name of my group, History Hunters of Lee County. Yeah, I love that.
Exactly.
Actually, that's what we do.
Yeah, I do Lee County, Collier, Henry. I mean, eh, all over Southwest Florida. Most of these guys that are in the chat right now know I'll travel.
Now I'm kind of backing away from everything right now because I am retired. I've got my groups on Facebook, but I'm going to start traveling this next year. So I'm not going to be around much. So I'm retired. I'm going to start traveling. I found someone to travel with, and hopefully I'm going to live happily ever after, but I'm still going to stay in the loop of everything.
I hope
I don't
so.
want to miss nothing.
I hope you stay in the loop. You're
I would
Joanne. You've always been a great resource.
thank you, and
And
I intend to stay that way.
yeah,
Maybe
like I
another
said, I've
speaker.
learned a lot from you over the years.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate what you do too, honestly, you and your group. You guys are
Yep.
amazing.
And there's guys in the chat right now that do what I do in different places of the state of Florida.
That's amazing. You guys are awesome. And we appreciate that because you know what? Cemeteries don't take care of their cemeteries, do they? It's people like you, volunteers, that do it.
Yep. Yeah, because with Buckingham, I got involved with that about over 20 years ago. I was in my aunt's car. We drove by it. I said, "What's going on with this cemetery? There's nothing being done." She goes, "Well, it's a community cemetery, and it's kind of been forgotten over the years." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Do you know who I need to talk to?" And she goes, "Well, let me ask around because my aunt and uncle and my 2 cousins at the time lived across the street from Riverdale High School. That's before all those homes went in.
Oh, yeah.
This is back in the 80s, though, 80s and 90s.
Mhm.
Alrighty, Joanne. I do appreciate you coming on tonight and
It was
introducing
difficult.
yourself.
I'm very computer savvy, but I did it. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, hopefully this helps you out, get some more people to your YouTube channel on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And you have a Merry Christmas.
I'm gonna try, and hopefully you have a good Christmas too. And that's right. We are non political. We say Merry Christmas and all that good stuff, not
Bless
the other
America.
malarkey.
All right.
All
Well, you
right.
have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night, Joanne. Good seeing you.
I'm trying
Alrighty.
to
I
leave. I'm
gotcha.
hitting.
There we go. I hope you guys had a good time meeting Joanne Miller. She's retired from from Lee County. You know, like she said, she took care of a lot of our historical documents and stuff like that. Uh, and a worth of knowledge when it comes to history of Lee County, and she's helped me out with quite a bit in Collier County, or put me in touch with the people that do. So, guys, yeah, like I said earlier, if a lot of camps did have elections this past couple months. So if you knew a new camp officer, please let me know. That way, if you're, especially if you're a new camp commander, I'll bring you on. You can introduce yourself to everybody in Florida. With that being said, next Tuesday, we're going to have the 11th Brigade Commander on with a new camp commander in his brigade. So it's going to be a fun time meeting, bringing them on so they can introduce themselves to you fine gentlemen and ladies. With that being said, if I don't see you, you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe till next Tuesday. Will be live again with the 11th Brigade Commander and a new camp commander in his brigade. Till next time, stay Southern, stay out of trouble.
My dad told me he always had a kinship to the battle flag. Always growing up, he knew there was something there, but he couldn't put it together. I called my 97-year-old grandmother, and I asked her, do we have any soldiers in the family? I gave her 3 descriptions. Verde, which means green, for modern-day soldier. Blue, azul, or gris, means gray. And she said, mijo, which means my son in Spanish, is gris. It was gray. My great-great-grandfather was named Andres Torres Rodriguez. He was born in Mexico. He was a laborer. And he was an 8th Texas Infantry, and his unit later on got incorporated to the Texas 33rd Cavalry under Santos Benavides, who was the highest Mexican-American Confederate officer. He was a colonel. There was over 13,000 Hispanic soldiers throughout the Confederate States, but out of those 13,000 were 2,500 Tejanos. And it's 2 words combined. Texas in Spanish is Tejas. Mexican in Spanish, Mexicano. You combine both words, Tejano. They contributed a lot for Southern independence. I think that they deserve respect, honor, and dignity under the Confederate flag that they fought for. There was people of color, Mexican people, and other Hispanics, and other people of color that fought in this war. Everyone's reason was different, but primarily they fought in this war for their independence and to protect their homeland. I joined the SCV because I'm extremely proud of my Confederate heritage. I have Confederate DNA. I just want to ensure that the present generation and future generations know and never forget the contributions of Hispanics in the War of Northern Aggression. I am Richard Luna Garcia, the great-great-grandson of Private Andres Torres Rodriguez, a Tejano Confederate soldier.